Sorry we're late, everybody. I'm going to blame it on Parker. No, it was my fault. Okay, I'm not going to blame it on Parker. Okay, so better late than never. Everybody get ready to sing the song.
COVID-19, why you do this to me? I really don't like being stuck in quarantine. I have no toilet paper, I don't even have a snack. Hey, coronavirus, I want my life back.
We are late. Meredith, you noticed it. Meredith was first out of the gate with that comment. Hello, question mark, exclamation mark. We thought we were on time, and we were talking away to you, but we had the wrong source punched up. So hello to everybody. Hello to our Isolators family. We have a nice treat for you today. The woman who is my very first guest on this show is with us today. So are we live? Everything's good? Everything's good now. Okay, good. Phew. Coming up a little bit later on the show, I'm going to introduce you to this woman. Her name is Sumana Ali Sayed. She is a chef. She made the Premier's cheesecake recipe. She's a YouTube chef. Ended up making 100 of them and donating them. Now, if that wasn't good enough, this is one of those things one of those interviews that comes along and you start thinking one thing, and before you know it, it turns into something completely different. She is an inspiration, and she's coming up in just a few minutes. Okay, Isolator family, here we go. Our first order of business, of course, is our grateful board. I am grateful for my family's Zoom birthday party. Your birthday, Meredith? Is it your birthday? Grateful for the beautiful weather. That's for sure. Grateful for being home. Where's this? Grateful for 3 new clients today. Carol, way to go. Working at home. Mike Robin, I'm grateful you're back. Where were you yesterday, young man? There was no note, nothing. Everybody on the board was asking, where's Mike? Where's Mike? You have some splaining to do, Lucy. What else are we grateful for? Let me see. Oh, that one there. I like Diana's, yeah. I'm grateful for friends who came with a social visit since I've been down the past few days, and a surprise liquid refreshment delivered to my door. Isn't that great? You're down and somebody comes in and just lifts your spirit up. Sometimes that's all we need. Sometimes that is all we need. Grateful for the sunshine. Yeah, you can't go wrong being grateful for the sunshine. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous day. I hope you had a chance to enjoy some of it. When is the temperature supposed to be like 30 degrees this weekend or something like that? So definitely can't go to the beach, or water's still pretty cold. Mike Robin down here. Here's his excuse. I had technical issues, all good now. All right, Mike, we're going to let it slide this time. It's the first show you've missed in 62 shows. All right, this particular episode is called Listen to Your Crazy Self. And there's good reason for that. And some people do find that term offensive, crazy. But for me, I wear it like a badge of honor. You know, I have depression, I have anxiety, clinically diagnosed, and I'm proud to be crazy. And I listen to my crazy, and it helps me. And I'm going to explain why in just a moment. But let's run the intro, shall we, for the series this week. I lost those. Okay, so here's what I wanted to talk about, and then I'm going to bring on Caddy for you. Listen to your crazy self. There is, in some martial arts, what you do to defeat your opponent is not, run away from your opponent's strikeout at you. It's to actually use use that momentum that they throw towards you. So if they're throwing a punch towards you, the idea of some martial arts is to take that and use that against them. So they're already pushing this way. Well, pull them that way. And that's what I do with my anxiety and my depression is, you can try and fight it all you want, fight it off all you want. But, and pardon the noise in the background, the air ambulance is just taking off its sick kids right now, so it's pretty loud for about 2 minutes while they warm up the engines. So the idea is, when your anxiety first hits you, it's important when it first hits you that you do this. Use it. Use that momentum. I compare it to a check engine light in the car. So that annoying, the dinging and that, and sometimes you feel the best way to take care of it is to put a piece of tape over it. No, your body with anxiety and depression is telling you something with a check engine light. And what happens if you put a piece of tape over that light? Eventually your engine seizes up. And then instead of like just changing the oil or replacing a gas cap like it wanted you to do in the first place, you end up spending thousands, sometimes right off your whole car, because you didn't listen to the check engine light. And that's why I'm saying you need to listen to your crazy self and use that for you instead of against you. And with that, I am going to bring in my friend, Dr. Kati Kamkar from CAMH. Kati, welcome back to you.
Kevin, you are the best. And thank you so much, as always, for having me. I love you. And you know what? What amazed me is, and I love whoever here is following your amazing show.
Mike was missing yesterday. Now we're having some problems with your video. It's working fine on Skype, isn't it? Like underneath. I wonder if hold on one second. And these are the technical problems we still have to this day, Kati. You remember our first day?
I
it was
know.
terrible.
Everyone has it, Kevin.
Okay. I don't know why it's not coming. Like the video's not moving there, but it's working on Skype. Okay. I'm wondering, Parker, if we lose it from Ecamm and then bring it back up again. Hold on one sec. We're gonna try and fix this because I mean it's a lovely picture of you, but it's just not moving. So let's try losing it and then adding it. Oh, it's not even on the Ecamm list. Okay, that's going to be interesting.
Do I need to do anything myself?
Oh no. It's is Skype? Do you know what? Yeah, should we call her back? Okay, we're gonna call you back. Stay with us. Okay, hold on. Do you want to do it, Parker? Okay, here I'll get it. There, hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna change that to. Okay, I'm gonna call you right back. Bring my camera back up. Technical difficulties originate with the source. Please do not adjust your set. That's what we used to say all the time on TV. Okay, so I'm going to hang that up. All right. And we're going to call her again. Oh, there we go. Okay. Turn that on. All right. Now, Parker, I'm going to let you do your magic. Try and bring her back up on the air. Let's see. All right. Wave or something. Oh.
I'm not able to see myself here as the other screen.
Okay. I think we're gonna let's see. I think we're okay here, Parker, now. Okay. We're gonna try our best, Kati. You may be going a little bit blind, but we can see you. You're moving. Oh, okay. How are you, by the way?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for asking.
I mean, isn't it great that I didn't blow up there? I could have just lost it. But, you know, it's what you have to do in isolation is just take everything as it comes, like my hair. Need a hair.
Your hair is nice and it is growing, which is great.
Okay. Now, I use the title, Listen to Your Crazy Self, and I thought long and hard before using that because the word crazy doesn't have good connotations when it comes to mental health. And there are good reasons for that. So I want to talk about the good reasons for that, but then I want to talk about why sometimes, you know, it's the best word to use. And one of the reasons, if you have a mental health problem, you're not crazy, are you?
No, absolutely not. Yes, I think that, of course, if we use that word, let's say, without providing the story or the context or our own personalized meaning, then this is when we need to exert care because right away it can lose its meaning and the context and the story and everything. But I think the point here that you're making is very important in that how to build self-awareness, because when we talk also about stigma, there is personal stigma, there is self-stigma, and there is workplace stigma. Personal stigma is a perception that I have about other people's mental health. Self-stigma is the perception that I have about my own mental health condition. And also we have a tendency to also internalize other people's attitude about ourselves. So if people think that, people with any mental health condition are weak, then I might internalize it and I might think I am weak. And then there is workplace stigma, whether we feel that our workplace does provide support or no support. But mental health, I mean, health is health, whether we are talking about mental health or physical health, it is health.
Okay, so and you're right, because putting it into context, when I'm saying listen to your crazy self, because sometimes we might think, oh, this is terrible, I'm feeling bad, I've got this anxiety coming on, this stress, this depression. And what we should be doing, as I mentioned before, is using it to our advantage, using its momentum for us. So if we are able to identify immediately when we just have that little tinge of anxiety and able to say right there and then what it is, it goes a long way from allowing it to hurt us. It's the check engine light, and when we ignore it, we put a piece of tape over it and our engine seizes up. But it's there for a reason. Anxiety and depression is actually a bodily function. It is biological.
Absolutely. I think that there are two main things here. I entirely agree in that. First of all, we want to use our emotions as a cue. They're very educational. They often provide us with tons of information. We want to use them as a cue that, okay, there is something going on and I want to do something about it. The second thing is for us not to be afraid of our emotions. We have a tendency to become afraid of our emotions. So the more we normalize them, they say, okay, there is something going on. We can put them into perspective, problem solve, and being able to move forward.
What's happening to us? Now, this is going to be I don't know. This is a silly question. What is anxiety? And what is it? I'm sorry to put that question to you without even preparing you for it, but what is it?
Well, it's one of the most universal emotion that we all go through, right? So often the anxiety, it works from head to toe. That's what it is also. Anxiety works from head to toe. So it's an emotion we all experience. It's universal. Well, the best way is to really break it down to really be able to manage it. So looking at what are the cognitive components of anxiety. So essentially, what are the thought processes of anxiety? When we feel anxious or there is a fear or there is nervousness involved, of course, we know the line of thinking and the worries, and often it is oriented to the future, or maybe we might see a threat. The actual scientific term for anxiety is the flight and fight response, or flight and fight freeze response, right? Which is the inbuilt alarm system that we all have that becomes activated, that tells us to either escape, or fight or freeze whenever again we see a threat. Now it also works the same way whether it's an objective threat or a subjective threat. So there is emotional threat. There is a behavioral component of anxiety, so all the things that we do or don't do because of anxiety. And there is the physiological reaction to anxiety. We all know when we feel anxious, heart pounding, chest pain, abdominal distress, sweating, and so on. And as I had mentioned again already, the emotional component of anxiety. So we might feel there is not only anxiety, but as part of anxiety often is I become afraid, I become anxious, I become more nervous.
You use the word alarm system, and it goes right into my analogy of the check engine light. So in the wild, anxiety is meant to protect animals from predators. You know, it heightens your senses, and there's a reason our stomach gets into knots, and there's a reason why, I don't know, it even you know, when you go to the bathroom, it can feel different, things like that. There's stuff that's happening for a reason in there, and there's that alarm system. How much more difficult is it to deal with that anxiety hours after it starts, days after it starts, instead of when it starts? What happens?
Well, of course, that, the sooner we are able to catch it, the better it is. Otherwise, I mean, of course, individual differences, the context, the situation, the trigger, not everything varies. But as everything, the sooner we are able to intervene, the easier it is. Because otherwise, generally what happens with anxiety, because again, often it's towards oriented to the future, our thoughts quickly become catastrophic, right? So we go from maybe this one single what if, the next thing you know, it has taken a 180-degree turn. So the thoughts can become more catastrophic, and then we might turn to ruminate. And then again, we feel it. We cannot sleep maybe, we might not eat, or there is food for comfort. We might pace around, we might start avoiding. So again, unhealthy decisions. So again, there could be sequelae. So the sooner we are able to catch and use a proactive strategy to cope with it, then the better it is.
And that's tough as well. If you've let it fester, if you've let it linger, what has to happen then? So let's get into this fatigue now, the quarantine fatigue. What happens if we have allowed this anxiety to get the best of us, to bring us down, to make us feel hopeless, to make us have those catastrophic thoughts? How do we restart?
So I think that, and I'm glad that, you're mentioning all those, Kevin, because with the quarantine, or even since the pandemic onset, we're talking about a new routine, a new normal every single time. Every single time we have to deal with a series of new normal, and another series of new normal are gonna come. Obviously generate even more anxiety because of all the uncertainty and very understandable, legitimate worries, right? Everyone has. Two things. Focus on what you have control over, really focusing on what we have control over. And that also means, what are the current worries, distinguishing current worries with potential ones. So current worries are the worries or the problems that I'm having right now, focusing on what we have control over so that we can make a to-do list, we can seek our strength and support and resources to be able to take care of the current problems. The second thing is psychological flexibility. How to be able to revise maybe our thoughts, our expectations, or our goals, because if situations, circumstances change, we need to revise our goals. We need to revise our expectations. The more flexible we are, the more connected we are to the reality. And the more we are grounded, connected to the reality, actually not only we can better problem solve, but we feel more confident and anxiety goes down.
It's interesting, you know what's going on, and I mean, from an academic standpoint, you can see, even with your own mental health issues, or not issues, but your own mental health, you can see what's going on. Does it become difficult for you sometimes, even fully understanding it, to sort of keep it at bay, or use that to try and help yourself? And I'm asking from a personal standpoint.
So, I mean, we are human beings. So we are all human beings. So whatever we talk about, as a psychologist, whatever we talk about skills and strategies or any even understanding, the first thing is always important for us to obviously use it ourselves as well. So obviously we are going to experience, and we do experience, all those range of emotions and thoughts. Obviously right now, even in the pandemic, everyone has worries. Everyone is going to have anxiety, but it works on a continuum. And the trick is really around the building awareness, what are the positives, the gratitude, psychological flexibility, and essentially how for each of us to build our own individualized self-care. So absolutely. And then again, always physical health, physical self-care as well. So whatever we talk about ourselves, using it every single day.
So, and you use the word continuum. We've been in this quarantine now for more than 2 months. And so we're in the quarantine and we start to get a little down, and then we pick ourselves up. and then we get a little bit down. Then we pick ourselves up, takes a little bit longer. 2 months later, though, it is so much harder to keep saying to yourself, it's almost over, it's almost over, the proverbial light at the end of the tunnel. What do we do? Do we trick ourselves? What do we do to bring us back up to feeling a little bit better?
So I would want to focus on really on what is the goal is, right? So in terms of, I'm not sure necessarily about tricking ourselves, but it's really around the quarantine, because everyone can feel some of the same stressors or even identical stressors, but also sometimes for people it could be like really different stressors. But it's really around that we do know it is going to be ongoing for some time. So to constantly think about when it's going to be over and over, what do we mean by over? Well, yeah, we do know we're not going to be at home all the time. That might be over for maybe in the very near future. But we do know that, let's say, the virus is not going to be over. So really around revising our goal once again to ensure that there is psychological flexibility so that we can best adjust to the new reality. With the new reality comes new routine, new structure, and proactive coping. And then again, it's going to be probably another new reality. So every time we're going to ask ourselves, when is it going to be over? Then I would want to know, okay, what do you mean by over? Let's also break it down so that we make it manageable, or maybe revise the expectations and the goals.
I am going to ask you to speak to one person here, Caddy. This is from June. I lost my husband of 61 years just before this virus hit. What advice do you have? So she can't even mourn properly. What could you say to June?
Yeah. June, thank you so much for being with us this evening and for sharing this with us. Our heart goes out to you, and heartfelt condolences. Here's the thing. Everyone will experience grief and mourning in such a different way, but we do know the pandemic has definitely not been helpful in terms of all the distancing and the physical distancing, and the grieving and the mourning really has taken a different feel and different definition and has been tremendously difficult. It's really around seeking support, tremendously important with loved ones. But we also know grief takes a long time, and we're going to go through a range of emotions and thoughts. Certainly, if you feel it's getting tougher and tougher every day, to the point that, let's say, initiating any task, any responsibilities, day-to-day activities, including self-care, there is professional help available. Very important. Now, here's the thing. Actually, I did write, along with the deputy CEO of the Canadian Psychological Association, we just wrote an article on grief and COVID-19 pandemic. It's all within the CPA website. If that might provide any help to June, I'd also written other articles on grief as well, if that might be helpful. But it's important to seek help whenever needed.
Can you send me the links to those articles, and I'll make sure June gets them. June, June, can you send me your email address by messenger? Or if you want to email it to me, firstaidforyourmentalhealth@gmail.com. But send me that. I'll make sure you get those articles. And June, what is your husband's name? What was your husband's name? I'm just going to wait for her comment to come up. I want to speak with June right now. So. What was your husband's name, June? Hold on one second. This is important. Just have to wait. It takes 30 seconds, 45 seconds for this to get out. You know what? Donna's wanting them too. I think Donna suffered a loss as well. So I'm going. You know what? I am going to post those. In fact, you know what? I'm going to have someone on to talk just about mourning in a time of COVID. I think that would be a good topic for people to hear about. I hope we still have June. June, your husband's name? Eugene. Okay. All right, everybody. It is a tough time to mourn, as Katie had said. It's not easy, but June, you are among friends right now and family. And we want to mourn with you. And I'm going to ask everyone out there just to give us a moment of silence for Eugene, and we're doing this for June. Thank you, everybody. And June, you're going to get through it. You're going to get through it. So we'll talk about that more in the coming days, and I will get those articles. I'm going to post those. So if you could get those to me, Dr. Kamkar, that would be wonderful. I think it would be a great help for so many people.
Absolutely, we'll do so.
Yeah. So what about having some fun now? You know, we're starting to see people do little things, random acts of kindness, things like that. We saw one earlier this week of some people who visited hockey, some friends, and brought the hockey penalty shots, literally shots and things like that. When you do something nice for someone else, what does that do to you?
That's a great question, because we do know through studies that when we talk about healthy relationships and seeking support, it also includes giving to others. And that is why we do know that any act of kindness, including volunteering, it is very healthy. It provides tremendous amount of satisfaction, and it is very healthy. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I don't think we really, it may seem fun or something like that, but yeah, when you do an act of kindness for someone else, you benefit from it as well.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. All right. Any other messages you want to get across to people out there who are into this quarantine fatigue? What words of wisdom, encouragement, enlightenment, inspiration, what could you share right now?
The two things. I think that always remembering self-compassion. So it's really around be mindful of your thoughts and emotions. So you put them into perspective, you reframe your thoughts, self-kindness so that you don't judge yourself. And remember that we are human beings and imperfection comes with humanity. The other thing, Kevin, is the last thing that you mentioned about, okay, well, what do we do for fun? And it's very interesting because there are individual differences. Like I remember long ago, one of my friends said to me, oh, Katie, what are you going to do? And I said, I can't wait to have my spaghetti bolognese and watch this movie. And I think she saw how elated and glowing I was just by saying that. And then she said to me, you're so lucky. Like little things really make you so happy. In my head, it wasn't maybe little things, or whether it is little things, maybe it's not a little thing. It doesn't matter. But do something that makes you happy, and it could be anything, as little things. If they matter to you, just make it happen.
That's amazing. I think that's fantastic. All right, Katie, I want to thank you because you helped me get this show to air the very first day. It was such a frustrating day. I remember I just was so down after that first show because everything that went wrong, that could go wrong, went wrong. And so much so that if you look on YouTube, it's the only show that's missing because I just refused to put it up there. But, you're an inspiration. You always have been an inspiration to me. And I want to thank you very much for spending this time with us this evening. And we'll talk again soon.
Absolutely. And you are the kindest, Kevin. Thank you so much for everything that you do, and literally for everyone, for our nation. So thank you for that. And promise this evening I'm going to send the two main readings on grief. It is a very important topic. Yeah.
I will post those and we will have a show on it as well. Katie Kamkar, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Wow, 62 shows ago that Katie and I first were on the air together. I want to go back to something. It was Donna Donna, I was watching as it was coming along, and I know Donna's one of our regulars. She lost her husband Paul back in October, and yesterday was her 25th wedding anniversary. Our thoughts and our prayers go to you as well, and we're going to have Paul in our memories as well. It's tough. It's tough, but I hope you find and you know what I'm watching as well. All of you, as June was talking a little bit earlier, when Donna had brought that up, wham! You guys are there for them. I remember one even said, "Call me anytime, June." Total strangers supporting each other. That's what we need to take from this isolation, and that's going to help lift us out of this quarantine fatigue, is reaching out and helping others. I keep hearing that theme repeated over and over and over and over again. Do you know what? We were talking about the Premier's cheesecake recipe the other day, and he got flack for that. And you know what? I think it's terrible that he got flack for it, because people were saying, let them eat cake or let them eat cheesecake, and how can he be doing that in a time of crisis? You know, it's a bunch of hooey, folks. The Premier and everybody at Queen's Park and at City Hall and on Parliament Hill, they're working. But you know what he gave us? He gave us something really important that's lacking these days, and that was a reason to smile. That was a reason to laugh. The Premier of the largest of the not largest province. Are we by land? Are we the largest? I don't know. I think Quebec is. But the Premier of the most populous province in Canada is doing a cherry cheesecake recipe. How silly. No, it wasn't. It was human. It was something to smile about. And if you can't smile about something during COVID, well, then you are going to be down in the dumps. And your fatigue is going to be much worse. So let up on them. We'll have lots to complain about when COVID's over with the Premier. Believe me. But you know what? Let's give him this one. Just ease up. We need a reason to laugh and a reason to smile. Now, there is a woman who has impressed me so much today. It was an interview that started with one subject, and before it was over, I was in awe of her and her feelings and her thoughts. Her name is Chef Suman Ali Syed, and she is a chef and has worked at a number of hotels in southern Ontario. Right now is between jobs, and of course COVID making that much worse for anybody like me who's looking for a job. So what she decided to do, well, you know what? I'm going to let her tell the story, because this is a story not only of fun and generosity because she donated what she had made, but it's a story of inspiration. And I want you to hear that for yourself. So here's my chat with Chef Ali Syed. Hello, Saman. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me over here.
What gave you this idea?
So a couple of days ago, I guess we all have checked this thing going online, which is the Ontario's famous Premier cheesecake. So, so I guess a lot of people were having a chuckle out of it. A lot of people went out and, did their own version of it. I recently started my YouTube channel, The 86 Kitchen, which is a food content creating platform. So what I did was that I replicated the recipe. After replicating the recipe and, sharing with a slight twist and with my own version of it, I thought, you know what, how about I take this to the next level and maybe share this treat with others. And one of the best ways to share the treat at this moment during this current time that is going out right now can be done with a meal donation, with a portion meal donation.
So how did this work? What did you do?
Okay, so what I did was that I created 100 individual packed portions of cheesecake, of the blueberry and the cherry cheesecake, and some chocolate cheesecake as well. After creating these portions, I communicated and contacted a few of my industry friends who basically are able to take these portions to not necessarily just food banks, but soup kitchens and shelters. There are two shelters who we actually donated these portioned meals to. One is the Eden Food for Change Food Bank, and the other one is the Wellington Square Food Bank.
And to make 100 cheesecakes, that's a
Just
lot.
from my downtown apartment.
Well, from your apartment.
Yes.
How long did that take, and how many ingredients did it take?
Well, it was just some cream cheese, the one which you can find at Walmart. Nothing that difficult about that. Some icing sugar and some chocolate. That's it. So three basic ingredients, and obviously some canned cherry compote filling. And that's it. It took me, I guess, 3 hours. Yeah, 3 hours.
Just 3 hours?
Yeah, yeah.
It takes me 3 hours to make one cheesecake.
Make one cheesecake.
How do you make or how do you make 100 cheesecakes in 3 hours?
Well, I guess my work experience came in use finally.
Tell me about your work experience.
So I am a professional chef. I have been here in Canada for the past 5 years. I am originally from Bahrain. Do you know where that is?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. A lot of people don't know where Bahrain is. I usually end up telling them to Google it. So that's great. So yeah, I'm originally from Bahrain, born and brought up in Bahrain. And then later on, my work experience, my travel, and my passion for enhancing my culinary career brought me to Canada. However, in February-ish, this thing came out, and obviously, just like me, a lot of other people out there, I'm sure, got affected, be it with their jobs, be it with their families, or whatever.
This interview turned out to be much more than I expected. It's so nice to have talked with you.
Thank you so much. My last thing that I would want to say is that, and I really hope this is a good food for thought for everyone out there, I feel that as a society, we really need to rethink the way how charity and donations have to be made. And there is a saying in my culture that how can you sleep at night so peacefully if your neighbor is actually hungry? So maybe think about that a little bit more. And if you're preparing a meal for your own family, who are probably 3 people or 4 people, we always end up with leftovers. So maybe just create a bit more and feed it or share it with your friends and family who are in need. Just start from there.
Wow, very wise words. Thank you for this.
Thank you.
Amazing, right? Amazing. I just wanted to talk to her about donating the 100 cheesecakes, which was more than enough. But the fact that she is doing this show, so I would love it if you could check her out on YouTube, and it is just simply the 86 Kitchen. Very, very simple on YouTube, the 86 Kitchen. And we were joking about the 86, right? And I always remember as a kid, there was that term, hey, 86 that, get rid of that. And I didn't know it was a kitchen term, but it's a very common term in professional kitchens. We're 86 on the cherry custard, which means we're out of it. 86 that customer, get rid of that customer. So I looked it up to find out where it came from. Like a lot of these sayings, sometimes there isn't a true explanation because it happened so organically that people don't know. But in this case, there is one legend that sort of sticks out among all the others as to why the term 86 means to get rid of, or something is gone. And it goes back to the days of Prohibition, back into the 20s, and it goes back to New York. There is a place called Chumley's, which is in Greenwich Village, opened in 1922. And it's at 86 Bedford Street. In fact, the number 86, it's still there. It's still operating. I'll highlight the 86 for you right there on the door. So legend has it that I'm not sure. Was that all? Hold on, I'm not sure. Did how much of that did not? Pardon me. It went through. Okay, good. All right. Sorry. Where was I? All right. So legend has it the bartender at Chumley's would get tipped off that the cops are coming to raid you. So 86 the patrons. In other words, the cops are coming in the back door. Send them out the front door. 86 Bedford Street. So 86 the customers. Hey, everybody, go out 86. Don't go out the back. Because in those days in Prohibition, when the police would raid a place, quite often they would go in the back instead of the front because everyone would run out the back door. So that's one theory of where it came from. I like that one. So I'm going to go with that one. So thank you very much for Simon for spending a few moments with me this afternoon to talk about your incredible gesture and to find out more about you. We have more to come tomorrow here on Kevin's Isolators. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to be talking with the head of a group that's called Hello Hope Canada, and he's just released a song and a video that I'm going to play for you right now. It's called Go the Distance. His name is Audrey Narana. So take care of yourself and take care of each other.
Stay inside, stay inside. Feeling like I gotta hide. Keep the gap 6 feet wide. We will get through this. I see all the people on the phones. Notifications, man, we got them froze. They're shaking in their knees and in their bones. It's getting crazier by the minute. The world is spinning, but it's spinning different. I think we really need to take a minute. Remember when we used to shake hands? Remember when we used to make plans? It feels like it was just yesterday. Wait, it was just yesterday. I didn't need good connection to make a good connection with you. Now tell me, what are we about to really do? Ooh, stay inside, stay inside. Feeling like I gotta hide. Keep the gap 6 feet wide. We will get through this. Take a breath, take the night. We don't gotta panic by. Someone come after the night.
Look, stay inside, stay inside. It's a challenge for you day and night, day and night. We just try and help you stay alive, stay alive. Look, you should listen to us. And our first thoughts, the worst part is when the world stopped, the earth started. Secondly, is it me or is a curse upon us? Feeling like we got the purge upon us. The masks are coming off fast on some of y'all. Show your true face, wait, that's Voldemort, all the more. His plans endeavor. In these times, please try to band together. To stand whatever may come.
Stay inside, stay inside.
Yeah,
Feeling like we gotta hide.
stay inside.
Keep the gap 6 feet wide. We will get through this.
We'll get through this.
Take a breath, take the night.
Stay inside, yo.
We don't got panic by.
Stay safe.
Someone come after
Be
the
smart.
night.
Respect each other. Connect with each other. Love don't gotta die.
We are a social animal, now deprived of most human interaction. This week, a special series dealing with quarantine fatigue.
COVID-19, why you do this to me? I really don't like being stuck in quarantine. I have no toilet paper, I don't even have a snack. Hey coronavirus, I want my life back. Well, hey coronavirus, I want my life back. Well, hey coronavirus, I want our life back.